If you're going to be successful in college, you need to know how to navigate around the university system. Some of you have spent at least a semester in college already. Some of you may have relatives or friends who have been to college and have filled you in, perhaps told you what office you need to go to for help, and some of you might not have that type of resource person in your life. So just to make sure everybody understands the basics, we'll do a quick run through, starting with what you call your instructor. In elementary school or high school, it was easy. Everyone was your teacher. You called them Mr. Smith or Mrs. Jones, or maybe on a rare occasion there was a Dr. Awesome Face. But it was pretty straightforward. At a university, there are different titles associated with different teachers. Most of the time, it has little impact on the quality of instruction, and most instructors don't care what you call them as long as it isn't something derogatory or disrespectful. But to some professors, their title is important. Maybe they feel like they worked hard and sacrificed much to be called Dr. Awesome Face. So there's a little background information to help you avoid any cultural faux pas. When a person has finished their PhD and they are hired to teach at a university, they will start as an assistant professor. They typically are given about 5 or 6 years to prove themselves a good teacher and do quality research. Then they have to apply for tenure. If they put together a successful case proving their success and worthiness, then they are usually promoted to associate professor and granted tenure. Once a professor is granted tenure, it means that the professor has job security. They can continue to teach at that university as long as they want, unless they do something really bad, such as something illegal, or if they are proven incompetent. Tenure was started in the early to mid 1900s to allow faculty to be able to teach how they wanted without being censored by others. Perhaps you've heard of the term academic freedom. There was a point in time where professors had to be very careful about every word they said in the classroom, because if someone did not like it or disagreed with their point of view, whether it was the university president or a major donor to the university, they were likely to find themselves fired. Once a faculty member has made it to the rank of associate professor and achieved tenure a few more years down the road, when they've really established themselves as an expert in their field and as a quality instructor, they can apply for the rank of full professor. That might be more information than you wanted, but at least you have the background knowledge now. What you really want to know is, what am I supposed to call him? Highest rank is full professor, followed by associate, and then assistant professor. Professors have multiple responsibilities, one of which is teaching. They also are responsible for conducting research, or in the case of an art professor, perhaps creating works of art and staying abreast of the latest information in their field. They also have to be involved in service, perhaps at the campus level by serving on committees, or within the community by lending their expertise to community organizations. Continuing lecturers are people who have been hired for the primary purpose of teaching. They typically do not have as much expected of them in the way of research or service. A visiting professor is someone who is here temporarily for up to 2 years usually. An adjunct or associate faculty, called LTLs here at PFW, can bring a different type of insight into the classroom if they are currently working in their field. For instance, an attorney who teaches business law, or a CPA who teaches an accounting course. If your instructor has a PhD degree, then it's probably a good idea to call them by the title of doctor. You can look on the syllabus to see if they are listed as Dr. Smith or have a PhD behind their name. In some fields, such as the arts, they have other degrees that are their terminal degrees rather than PhDs, such as a Master of Fine Arts or MFA. So technically, these people are not doctors, though just as qualified. If you're not ever sure, professor is a safe thing to call your instructor, regardless of their degree or title. Professor is a term of respect used to address any instructor. Some professors will prefer that you call them by their first name. That's okay as long as they invite it. Never call a professor by their first name unless they have told the class that it's okay or preferred. University administration. The university is a large organization with many different offices. As a taxpayer who may have been paying into the state institution for a long time, or even someone who pays tuition, you have a right to know how it's set up, or in business terms, how it's run administratively. A student who will need to navigate your way through different offices for different services, it's imperative that you understand PFW's fundamental structure. The Purdue University system is administered by the Purdue University Board of Trustees, but for the most part, Purdue Fort Wayne runs as an independent institution from Purdue in West Lafayette, or the main campus, IUPUI, Purdue Northwest, Purdue Global, Purdue Polytechnic, and Purdue University Online. In the administration of Purdue Fort Wayne, at the top is our Chancellor, Dr. Ronald Elsenbaumer. The Chancellor has been with PFW since fall 2017. Ultimately, he answers to the President of Purdue University and the Board of Trustees. To draw a parallel, the role of Chancellor is similar to that of a President, and organizationally speaking, beneath him are Vice Chancellors, Associate Vice Chancellors, and sometimes Assistant Vice Chancellors to oversee the main functions of this institution. So directly, these Vice Chancellors, the Executive Director of Development, and the Chief Diversity Officer all report to the Chancellor and ultimately oversee the smooth operation of PFW. Think of anything that has to do with the operation of the campus, and it will lead to one of these 6 people in what is usually called the Chancellor's Cabinet. For example, the Vice Chancellor for Financial Affairs, Glenn Nakata, oversees some offices that you may never deal with, such as human resources, purchasing, accounting services. You will, however, have interactions with the Bursar's office, who collects tuition, or Purdue University Police, or Purdue University Fort Wayne Athletics. Under Vice Chancellor Nakata's umbrella, a cabinet member you will no doubtedly see as Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management and the Student Experience, Christina Krieger, and Chief Diversity Officer, Martez Hammonds. Communication and marketing oversee advertising and social media for PFW, and development is the fundraising arm of the institution. All of the cabinet members have large staffs underneath them, as you can see here. Every one of these boxes below the cabinet run a program or an office of some sort. There are 48 people in total on this page below the Chancellor, and it goes even further. Let's go down one of these Vice Chancellor branches to show you some more. The primary reason that the university exists is to educate. And so, at the top of the role for academics is the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Carl Drummond, who not only oversees all the different colleges and schools and their deans, but the Associate Vice Chancellors, Executive Director, and Directors that keep the educational mission of the university rolling. The numbers get even deeper under Dr. Drummond. There are 318 tenure-track faculty and 469 lecturers for a total of 787 instructors in total here at PFW. But there's more, lots more. This very organized chart really has all of the people of importance leading up to the people who are in the previous slide. This chart doesn't even include all of the administrative support positions, advisors, and people on the ground floor who make things happen on a daily basis. In total, there are more than 1,500 employees at PFW. Way too many to chart here. There are so many offices on campus that it's important to know where to go to find the help you need. Remember, if you are not sure where to go, your academic advisor is a great place to start. They can guide you to the people who can best help you in any particular situation.